Alright, so let's do the show on the Virtue Spire. Now, I apologize in advance. I've spent 3 days in the hospital with pneumonia. I've got severe ear infection, so if I talk like I've got hearing aids in my ears, that's why. But moving on. Let's talk about the Virtue Spire. Remember they had a campaign many months ago. They were releasing little pictures and little tidbits, and no one quite knew what it was. I personally thought Virtue was going to make a marker. I mean, it made the most sense. Like, you saw them get into the plastic injection, the molding and stuff like that on their chronograph, the clock chronograph. And, you know, they're already making boards, so I personally thought they were going to be making a marker, but that wasn't the case. It ended up being a loader, which is okay. So, you know, more loader choices, the better, in my opinion. But, you know, let's kind of talk about, packaging off the bat. This is, you know, great packaging. Obviously, you know exactly what color you're getting. You know exactly what's in the box. This Lexan, clear Lexan packaging is really nice. Inside of the box, it's got a nice little stand. Inside of the box, you've got lots of stuff here. It's got a, quick notes about the loader. And of course, it's got a really nice color manual. And, basically a lot of the same things you're going to see in a lot of different loaders on the market. You've got lots of different settings, but one thing that really stood out to me, and this is crucial, especially if you like playing night games or if you've been looking for a night loader, is you have the ability on here, which is in the LED settings, color green. You have the ability to shut the LED off on the loader, which is really cool. So if you get the, like say you get a black loader, you want to play night games, stuff like that, you're looking for a loader that doesn't have an LED, you don't want to cover it up with electrical tape or anything like that, you can actually run this loader without the LED on. So, I definitely want to point that out there for people that have been looking for a loader, because as far as I know, I don't think there's any loaders that are out there on the market right now that run without the LED. Now, I know that was the Prophecy with the LTD package. I know Ben was supposed to be working on something like that where, you could turn it on, didn't have any LEDs, but that never came out. But as far as I know, this is the first loader that's ever had basically a night game mode where you can run it without the LED, which is really cool. Something else I liked about the release of the Spire was that they had the speed feeds ready to go upon the release of the Spire. So I don't know if you guys remember many years ago when the Prophecy first came out, the speed feeds were an extremely limited supply. You had to actually go to the events to get them, and even then they would sell out like the first day and stuff like that. That was really cool that they had the speed feeds ready to go. And as a matter of fact, a couple, just seemed like a few weeks or maybe just a month or so later, they came out with another speed feed. This one is called the Spring Finger, which instead of using the rubber traditional speed feed you're seeing like on a lot of speed feeds that are on the market right now, it uses these spring fingers. I'll open it up. Basically, it's plastic fingers, but with a very lightweight spring hinge. So it doesn't take any pressure at all for these to be pressed down, but you can't press it back the other way. Now, I haven't personally used this one, but I've sold a couple on market business. People that have used them, people that got them said they really liked them. Now, they only had these at World Cup, and we sold them, and I'm probably end up putting this one on there as well. But a lot of people that have these seem to really like them even more than the traditional speed feed. So if you're looking to possibly, if you're getting the Spire, I would probably say, based on the initial reviews from other people, I'd probably say go with the spring finger design as opposed to the traditional speed feed design. But let's go do one important thing, which is weigh it. So I know a lot of people are like, what happened to the old scale? It just broke. It was just all of a sudden didn't turn on one day. I was very upset. So let's go ahead and weigh it. Let's see here. Pounds and ounces. Hold on real quick. Okay. Sorry, my daughters sometimes come in here and they start pressing the buttons on this. So this weighs in at 1 pound, 2.9 ounces. We go ahead and zoom in here. 1 pound, 2.9 ounces. So yeah, 2.9 ounces. So 1 pound, 3 ounces, which is pretty much, I believe, the lightest loader right now that's on the market is probably the Pinocchio, which weighs in pretty much right at 1 pound even. The Velocity even weighs in at about 1 pound, so it's about 3 ounces heavier. Virtue definitely did a really good job on how they put this thing together and stuff like that. One thing I really like about the design of this is that you can very, very quickly switch from the lid to the speed feed, okay? You don't have to unscrew anything or anything like that. It's very, very quick, very easy. And that actually comes in handy, you know, especially if you're playing tournaments. You know, as you can see how quickly this comes right off. You know, and then you stick the new one on there. If you're playing tournaments and you need to switch between the two, it's very, very quick. And I'll tell you, this was my rain loader at World Cup. Second match I had at World Cup, it started drizzling on us, and I went to the Spire, and it's still a little bit dirty in here, and it worked perfect in the rain. So, I'll show you how quickly. So we went ahead and took this off, which is basically just slide this up, push this button in, the lid comes off, and then from here it's kind of similar to how the rotor works a little bit. Just push this little tab here and the entire tray comes out. Now this, you could you know, toss this in the water if you wanted to, if you wanted to rinse it out. There's nothing really left inside here for you to mess with. Now you can take a look at the Spire here. The internals is very simple. Okay, so you've got basically the Spire comb, which they tell you don't rotate this by hand. You don't want to manipulate this at all. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it has something to do with the gearing in it or something like that, but they tell you do not manipulate that by hand. And then on the bottom, you've got your the 3 batteries that it uses. And that's pretty much it. So, you know, to swap out the batteries, it's got a little piece of Velcro here, and you just unpeel the Velcro, take out the 3 double A's, and put the new ones in, and you're ready to go. Putting it in is very, very simple. You just slide it in until it indexes, press down. That's it. And you just push that down to lock it. And it tells you press up to unlock, press down to lock. And, you know, so to basically pull it off, you just press that up, press it in, and this comes right off. So, I mean, very, very good design on Virtue's part on you know, how they designed it. Something else I really like too is when you put the speed feed on there, the speed feed doesn't come off, you know, or it doesn't open up when you're going to dive into the snake. And I know, you know, like with some of the you know, some of the other loaders that are out there, like I know, you know, sometimes with my Prophecy, I actually had to take a screw and screw the speed feed down, because when I would dive into the snake, it would open up. So that's something that I really like about it, is that, you know, you put the speed feed attachment on here, it's not going to open up when you're out there playing. But you know, did I have any problems with it or anything like that? About the only thing I think I noticed with mine, and I could probably even adjust the settings to get it, but basically on the stock settings, I noticed that every once in a while when there was about 5 or 10 balls left, I would get caught in this kind of in-between world where there wasn't a ball in the gun to shoot to spin the Spire fast, but I could still feel that it was in there, and I had to wait for it to pulse around to get the balls in a loader. That only happens when you're down to the last couple balls on, you know, inside of the loader. But you know, it happened it happened rarely. But as long as I get that one, you know, if there's like 5 balls left, you just get one into your feed neck to shoot it. It's going to spin the rest of them in there. But I did notice every once in a while, if there was just, you know, 5 balls left, and you know, I didn't have a gun, you know, the Spire would start spinning, you know, and it does these little half rotations, and as I would be pulling the trigger, waiting, all of a sudden I had to wait for it to catch that one ball to shoot it down the feed neck, and then I would be able to fire, then it would spin the rest of them down in there. It happened every once in a while, maybe once out of every 1,000 rounds that I shot, but it was something that I kind of noticed. I could hear the balls inside of the loader. But you know, I'm pretty sure that if I adjusted the settings on here, you know, maybe see if I could speed it up a little bit, maybe I'd be able to get that down there just a little bit faster. But I know some people have also complained that the little Spire unit there, or the drive cone, gets in the way of the loading. I didn't quite see that. I know a lot of other people say that, you know, depending on the pod that you use, you may not be able to get all your paint in there. That's just a sacrifice that you take on using a smaller loader. I mean, you can't get this much paint into this much, you know, this much space of a loader. So, you know, these smaller loaders, like the rotors, like, you know, like the Spire, you know, with a basic pod, you're going to almost have to shoot it pretty close to empty in order to get the entire next pour in there. And also, with that being said, I do love how big the opening is on this when you open it up. I mean, it's right up there like with the Prophecy. You got a nice big gaping hole to pour your paint in. Very hard to miss. A lot bigger than the standard Halo. A lot bigger than standard Halo opening. It's huge. You go to dump your pot in, it's very difficult to miss this. But they're selling the Spires right now, I believe, $185. I believe the speed feeds are like $35. About $15 cheaper than the rotor. I didn't have any problems with this loader whatsoever. You're going to also see in the efficiency test, we used them to be efficiency tested like 7-8 guns with this loader. Didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. Other than, like I said, that thing when you start getting down to like the last 4 or 5 balls in the loader, you don't have any to shoot out of the gun, so it's still it kind of spins and waits for those balls to go down into the catch cup. But I think Virtue did a great job with these. I know when they first, when they were testing them out on the field, when they first came out, there's some problems, a couple problems with prototypes. I don't know exactly what it was. You saw the buzz all about the internet about the pros would use them for a game and then switch back to whatever original loader they were using. But I know at World Cup this year, I saw a ton of these things out there on the field, and I saw very few of them in the Virtue tent being fixed. I don't think I saw any. I went in the Virtue tent probably at least 5 or 6 times. I didn't see really them even working on much of anything. So you also know Virtue's got phenomenal customer service. They've had great customer service with their boards going all the way back to the early 2000s. So if you pick one up and you do have an issue with it by chance, they're going to take care of you. Virtue's always had amazing customer service. I've dealt with them many times, from boards I've gotten soaked, the boards I've broken and stuff like that. They've always had amazing customer service. So I wouldn't hesitate on purchasing this loader at all. And I also know they just came out with a whole bunch of new colors for these. I know originally they just had the black, they just had the white. I saw some players at Cup that were doing some pretty cool things, like they were swapping, like the bottom would be black, the top would be white, or vice versa, which is kind of cool. But now they've got all different colors for these things. They got black, purple, I mean, all these different colors for the Spire. But I wouldn't hesitate on purchasing this loader, at all if you're looking, if you're looking for a loader, maybe looking for an alternative to the rotor, still another great loader, but it feeds great, works great. I think it's definitely a solid product. So a lot of people were shooting them at World Cup. Didn't see too many people complaining about them. Didn't see too many people running out of the Virtue tent complaining about them. I definitely think Virtue's made a great product. I mean, I would like to have seen them come out with a new gun, which I still think they're going to do. I still think they're going to do, but that's just my speculation. Maybe they won't, but I was still thinking they would. I'm like, man, the clock, it's got a trigger on it. Okay, they've already got the boards, but it didn't work out that way. But with that being said, Virtue made a great product here. If you're thinking about getting a Spire, pick it up. I think you're going to be very happy with it. I definitely say also, pick up the speed feed for it. You can swap back and forth. And, if it's starting to drizzle out, go with the lid. Play an X-ball or something, you want to feed it quickly, go with the thing. But I think I would say probably between the two, I would say go with the spring finger. I think you're going to like the spring finger a little bit better. Thanks for tuning in.